Welcome to Leap Sales with Ian Nethercott and Larry Feldman live.
How do you adventure? Is it fast? Is it free? Is it clear? Is it rugged? Is it remote? For your next adventure, trust MotoClose for buying, selling, trading, and protecting all of your motorized assets.
as a matter of fact. Yes, I do. And it's like, okay, wow, okay. Well, you do have some blockage. Don't know the extent of it, so we're going to have to do a cath. But while I'm in there, because there is blockage, I'll put a stent in. So that should, and I'm thinking, is this a psychological mind game or what is this? Yeah, I'm going to go because I'd rather be proactive than, the opposite. But yeah, so when I can, I do this thing called time blocking. Okay. A lot of you are probably better than I. So I have time blocking 11:15 to 12:30 my time. So I can work out, which I'm not doing, eat, which I rarely do, and then I take a power nap out in
20 minutes, right?
Right, huh?
Yeah.
20-minute power nap.
Well, no, this is about 20.
Yeah, 20 minutes of power nap. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. At about 20 minutes, I guess the snoring gets so loud it wakes me up. Okay? So I wake up and, I take my afternoon vitamins and hop back in my seat and get on Zoom. And I don't even, I took everybody around the block, but I will tell you this, okay? I'm really excited. Some of you probably know about this. Let me back up. I answered your question. I didn't mean to tick off and do the whole thing, but I had, if somebody else would like to share, that'd be fine. But I wanted to share one more thing. So some of you know itty bitty bits and pieces of my story, my journey. Okay. And I just finished writing my memoir. Okay.
Ooh,
Yes.
I'd love to read that.
Well, so
Are you publishing or is it for you?
No, I'm publishing.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. And it's been a charity. My CMO, she's my ghostwriter. Okay. I can tell the story, but putting it into words, but she is just, I think she's amazing. So she's read most of it back. It's going to be about 138 pages. And I don't know. I hope people get a lot out of it. So I'm looking. I have somebody. Boy, these spam calls. I have somebody I'm going to send it to. I just have it in Google Docs right now for final review and edits and get a forward in there and mentions and stuff like that. Then I'll send it off. It's going to have an X-rated cover on it. And the title of the book, hold on, I'll tell you the title of the book.
Is that an X-ray of your ribs or is it an X-ray?
It's X-rated.
X-rated.
Oh.
Like rated R, in the movies
Yeah,
back
so-
in the day.
So you know how
I'm in the wrong room.
R-rated.
you know how books that are gritty or whatever, they kind of have I guess it's called chiaroscuro. It's different shades of black and white, right? So it's going to be just a facial shot of me in praying. And I'm getting the name. We've gone back and forth. Let me do this real quick.
I'm glad so much that you explained that.
Yeah, I'm going to print.
You gotta get another jar.
Yeah,
My jar's not big enough.
I'm gonna print.
You got to get one of those barrels in the back that just sort of appears.
And this is a book that not only caters to people in automotive, but also in the addiction realm of things and in health realm of things. So I hope it opens up some doors for some. I can't remember anyway. So the title of the book is there's a little bit more to it. It's called Danny Hoyt. Okay. And so I had an assumed name for 3 years. And I actually got all the documents legally myself from somebody that was born and died on the same day. And it's quite a fascinating twist.
That's interesting. Did you do that to cover up what had happened before?
Yeah, well, I was wanted in 2 states, one for probation violation and theft, and the other for trafficking and conspiracy.
Wow.
So
Yeah, so I can see the X rating.
yeah, here's the short version. It chronicles how I got where I got. So the hardest thing to get was the Social Security number, but I got all the documents legally, even though it was an assumed name. Instead of buying them off the street, Most people couldn't even do that. That's a story in itself. But I was working at Toyota of Richardson, which was the premier place to work back in 1991, 92, 93, etc. It was just, it was a machine, man. And some of you might remember, I think it was 1992, the Camry Emerald Green with tan interior.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Popular. I mean, you couldn't hotcakes. Anyway, regardless, what you had to go through just to work there. So often the sales manager would say, "Hey, Russell, come to the tower." You didn't go to the tower unless you had a deal, unless they called you. That's it. That's when you worked for Van Tile. That's the way it was. Period. So they called me to the tower and said, "Mike Greenway back in service. Has got a customer he wants to introduce you to," which happened from time to time because I used to work the service drive, right? So I'm going back there and I'm walking down the steps and I'm turning towards his office, see him standing there, and it all happened like within seconds. As soon as I crossed the threshold, I thought it was kind of funny the way he was standing, but like I said, it was in seconds. These eyes were piercing behind the door. It was the FBI and the police.
Wow.
And they threw me up against that thing and said, what is your name? And I said, Danny Hoyt. And your name is Russell Hill and you're wanted, blah, 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 blah. So now I'm going to leave it there because the next
This is going to be a great book.
So this. That's just one portion of it. So from the time I was arrested, 3 months later, not only did I have the cleared up in Texas and the charges cleared up in Albuquerque, New Mexico, but I came back to work. They hired me and promoted me as leasing manager as Russell Hill. Same dealership.
Okay, you know what? We're going to Hollywood with this one. This is so perfect. I can't stand it.
Those are just the extreme highlights.
Well, Russell, if you want some inspiration as you're finishing up, definitely watch the interview I did at Used Car Week. No, NIADA a couple of years ago. I interviewed this guy. Mm-hmm. He was on the magazine as like the best used car dealer. I think he's in upstate New York. He owns a couple of dealerships. I won't spoil the interview, but his story is insane. Kind of like yours, but he wanted to be a pro athlete, and then he had a little bit of a drug problem. I won't get into all the details, but I did a follow-up interview. But the thing that was funny about it was this guy rolls up in the media room at NIADA to do the interview. And these guys like 6'8", 300-pound guy. So Jeff Polo, who's my co-host at the time, looks up at him and he thinks he's someone from the Andy Elliott team. And I go, no, that's not him, dude. That's not who he is. Like he could pick Andy Elliott up and throw him through a wall. Like this guy was freaking huge. And I'm going, so what's the story? And then we're sitting there, we're interviewing him. We're like, holy frickin' bejesus. Like, this is a crazy story, right? But just like your story, what happened is he eventually went to jail. And then when he got out of jail, the same guy who prosecuted him, who pressed charges, who got him, put him in jail for theft, invested in his first dealership. Like, I'm not kidding. And it was like the craziest thing. I'm like sitting there going, what?
I never wanted to be a pro athlete. I wanted to be a pro drug dealer. That was my.
Yeah, well, he took the turn later, but yeah, it's a story though.
I wasn't even good at that. That's why I got eventually into the car business.
Yeah, he wasn't good at it either. He had a pain pill problem. But yeah, I mean, he's an interesting cat. Definitely.
I don't know, what it's going to be. I don't have any really expectations. If Amazon picks it up and somebody wants to I'm going to self-publish. I'm going to probably send 200 copies out. I'd be honored if somebody
happy to help.
I'd love to.
But it's an amazing journey. It's like to hell and back is what it is. And everybody has those. Mine has a lot of twist to it. My story is my story and everybody has a story. But here's what I've learned over the last few years. People need to know your story and your story and your story and your story. They need to know that because it inspires other people, and they said, my God, if he or she can go through that, what is my excuse? What is my excuse?
100%. Like I'm leaning back listening to this going, So you were in a jail cell for this. So like, I guess people didn't really mess with you. You look like you're gonna throw them through a wall. I was like, wow, like it's just like,
it's like
wow.
My hope is that you will laugh.
Yep.
You will cry. It was some of the things. I'm very vulnerable in the book about sexual abuse when I was a youngster, and those secrets, they bind you and prevent you from growing. So it's really a kind of a tell-all. Some of it gets really graphic. We scaled back some of it, particularly with one scenario, just so you can understand the grips of hell that I was in when I was shooting dope. It was bad.
Sorry to hear it, but love to read it though. I'm interested.
You can come out on the other side, and that's what I want the message to be.
I think that's a very important message, and a lot of people need to hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's another one. I think it was a guy who was the Navy SEAL. Is it Army of One? Anyway, he was another one. He went through a hellish upbringing and just never stopped. So it was kind of interesting. But
see, listen, every one of us have that, right?
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
I mean, they really do. And this all goes back. The journey goes back to when I was 5 years old. That's how far back I go. When it all got started. When the trash can was so full, you didn't even know where to begin. So I unpacked the trash can all the way back to my earliest memories and how all this behavior formed.
Yep.
And I tell you what, I am so grateful to be alive today. And I was in a conversation with somebody yesterday. We were talking about religion and stuff like that. And it was a very open conversation, not trying to cram something down your throat. And I'm not a religious guy. I've practiced all of them. I grew up Episcopalian. It's about as close to Catholicism as you could get. And like I said, I've experimented and dug into some of them pretty hard. But what I ultimately found was that, to me, religion is for people who are afraid of hell, and spirituality is for people that have been there.
right.
Yeah, so that's my story and stick it to it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing that. I mean,
Mike, look what you
Yeah,
did.
so our ribs aren't healed yet, right?
No, right. Full circle, full disclosure. Yeah. And I hope this inspires other people.
I won't make you laugh.
So,
That must hurt. Yeah.
yeah, I hear Mike's coming out with a really vocal book about all the stuff he's done in the last 10 years, right, Mike?
Long-suffering Red Sox fan, yes.
Wendy hasn't said anything. Wendy, good evening.
No, since you mentioned Wendy, I gotta say something to Wendy, okay? So
Larry.
I've gotten pretty close to Wendy, and we've had some pretty frank conversations. And just with some of the things that she shared with me and her being vulnerable to do that, trusting me, you should write a book too, Wendy. Honestly,
I probably should, because I think that it would probably, the thing I worry about, Russell, is I know I've got so much repressed childhood trauma, so much, that's probably created who I am today, and why I'm always attracting narcissists, and I'm such an empath, thinking that I need to take care of everyone else, and I don't take care of myself, because I always lived my life for my parents or a man or whatever, and it probably would be a good, it would probably be freeing, like it would be like a liberation, it would be like, I think it would do that. But my daughter said to me once, and I think I told you this, be careful, Mom, and they have a saying in Greek, Osho piopolita scalisis piopoli romane, the more you stir shit up, the more it's gonna stink. So sorry, Rhonda.
Thank God she wasn't listening. No,
she's off camera.
I worry about that, I worry about going down that rabbit hole, because then it's going to get even messier. I'd rather be oblivious and keep it all repressed.
Yeah, I don't think you should, but I understand what you're saying. I've already talked to my sister and my brother and prepared them. There's some things that are going to be in there. There just are. This is my story. When my mother passed away, she wanted her ashes spread in South Padre Island at this particular point. So my brother and sister and I we had gone through, this was one of her wishes. So we made a road trip. The things we talked about and what we remember growing up with mom and dad, because we had a fully mother, yeah, we just mother and father the whole time I was growing up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a two-parent family. So, but our memories are so distorted. Everybody, but it's not right or wrong. That's just their perception, and it's amazing how much they really different. Like I was the black sheep. I was the middle child. I was the one that, you know, I didn't even finish junior high, and my younger sister and brother went on to college and very successful and athlete and grades, and I was a D student and F student and it just got in trouble all the time. And it's like, but I was mom's favorite is what my brothers, and just goes on and on and on. It's very liberating, and I'm a little apprehensive. I'm a little nervous, a little anxiety about what my brother and sister or other people might think that read the book that know me from back in that day. There's people that are still around. They remember me working for them as Danny Hoyt. It's pretty cool deal. And but my memories are going to be different from theirs. That's why we decided to call it a memoir, because it's my story, you know. And you have a cool story, Wendy, and it needs to be told.
Yeah, and you can always do something, Wendy. I'm not saying you should or you shouldn't, but you could always start by just writing it and see what you think. I mean, there's no harm in writing stuff down. I mean, I read a book, I think it was Matthew McConaughey's book about green light, red light or something. It was kind of an interesting book, but books in general, what you'll find when you read life story books specifically, I mean, one of the most interesting business ones is Shoe Dog, which reads more like a novel than a book from the Nike story. But I mean, there's definitely some interesting ones. I mean, the guy who founded Lululemon wrote a book called Little Black Stretchy Pants about that, like, interesting story. But because his wife actually designed those, you know, tight pants that all these women wear. But it was kind of interesting because it's not at all what you thought.
What are you really saying, Ian?
Yeah, I don't know. People are a mystery, but more importantly, it's not about you per se, even though that's part of it. It's about what the things in your life that you've maybe learned from that help other people, prevent them from going down that road. I mean, the thing that really impresses me when you see someone's life story or they write it looking back is you look at those decisions you made right and wrong, and you may help other people not make those wrong decisions by just reading it, going, hey, if I do this, this could happen. I probably shouldn't make that call, right? So that's.
I'm sure it's happened with other people in this room too, Wendy. I've been told the people that know that little bit I shared with you, they said, "Oh my God, you need to write a book. You need to write a book. You need to write a book." And Charity, she's a journalism major, and she used to do magazines and newspapers before we hired her and stuff like that. And she said, I got to share with her a little bit. She said, "You need to write a book." I said, "I know, I've been told that for the last like 40 years of my life." She said, "Can I ghostwrite it for you?" And I said, "Yeah, I don't even know where to begin." She said, "Just tell me a story. Just tell me a story." And then she starts out with one area, then it goes forward in time, then it goes back again, and then it goes forward in time, then it goes back again to keep people turning the page. And although most people, whoever reads it, you know, after a while may not remember so much, you know, exactly how it went down, but whatever feeling it evokes, they'll remember that the rest of their life. And that's what
Let me tell you the power of a book like that. I grew up in a family of Holocaust survivors, and after the war, nobody talked about that. Not even the Holocaust survivors. They didn't tell their children anything. Right. You're talking about the children, me and my peers, had not only a unique experience with our parents, but emotionally, we were suffering, every one of us, whether we were suffering because of how our parents treated us or just because of what they went through. The fact that we all inherited PTSD. Thank you. I can never forget
that.
Yeah. In 1988, a woman wrote a book. Her name was Helen Epstein. It was called Children of Holocaust Survivors. And everybody read it. We all read it. Everybody read it, not even in the Holocaust family area. And it opened
Honestly,
up.
I think I even remember mention that was real newsworthy or something.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it was groundbreaking.
Yeah.
And really, she was a psychologist. But so many survivors' kids were psychologists. What a surprise! But she was a psychologist, and but she talked about her own experience. And so many of us said, "Yeah, I went through that. Yeah, I went through that." That it created a movement of clubs, if you will, in every city in the country, in this country, and all around the world of second generation. And we all went through group therapy together in these groups.
Just from somebody writing that book and being
Just
that
from
bold.
somebody writing the book. I mean, it was because there was a whole generation of silence.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
not supposed to talk about it. We were not allowed to talk
See.
about it. And it was a powerful, powerful book that is still selling. How many years later?
Yeah.
So write your story.
Thank you. So I'm fixing to celebrate December 1st, be 31 years clean and sober.
Mhm.
And I want to tell you something about that. The two biggest things that cause people with the addictions that I have, or I think anybody with anything that they struggle with like that, there's two things that cause people to go out over and over and over and over and over again. And I've seen so many people die in my club. I still go to meetings every week. Okay. Even after all this time. Secrets,
Mhm.
Wendy, and resentments.
Mhm.
Things that
That's right.
oh my God, if anybody ever found out that I did this, I'll have to kill myself. I'll never be able to face humanity again. And what I find is that most of those things are bullshit. Okay. By releasing them and saying them out loud, takes the power away. And the people that push the hardest, that their lives are perfect, I can see skeletons cascading out of their closet door that opened up, because we all have secrets that we think that if anybody knew that I crossed this moral and ethical line, that I'm going to be persecuted in hellfire and damnation the rest of my life, and it's all bullshit.
Mhm.
And then the second, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. The second. You were just getting in. I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
No, I
Russell.
was just going to say resentments. Wishing people, and I'm guilty of everything I say every day, but resenting somebody, not liking somebody. I got harmed. It's like attaching a ball and chain around your ankle, and it consumes your time, and the other person doesn't give it a second fucking thought. And I'm sitting here thinking, you mother, so-and-so, you did this, you did that. I'm going to get you back. What a waste of life.
Right.
So I have to share that. So first of all, I want to say to Rhonda's point, our generation, my mom was born in 1940, and that generation, the women, I mean, they raised the kids, they cooked the meals, they cleaned the house. When the husbands came home, they were all dolled up, and dinner was on the table, and the kids were all perfect and everything else. I was abused at 5 years old at a family gathering in the basement. I told you this, Russell. And I'll be graphic. My mom's cousin put his finger up inside me, and when I tried to run away, pulled me back with the finger, and it was very traumatic. And come to find out, fast forward several years as we got into our teenage years, he had done the same to several second cousins. And when I questioned my mom about it, they didn't talk about it. All of the mothers knew, and they didn't act on it. And this man had 4 sons and a daughter. I mean, God only knows.
Really?
I carried that, and I think, and then I'm not going to get into my story, but I told you, I lived my life like to please other people. I was the smartest kid in the class. They moved my class 3 times in 6th grade. I performed on demand. My dad would say, show off in front of his car buddies. Hey, Wendy, what's 5 + 10 × 2 - 3 × 100? And I'd go, boom, with an answer. And he'd flip me a quarter like I was a puppy dog he was throwing a treat to. And anyway, my point is today, there are so many people in so much pain. And I truly believe that when we praise one another, and I say this to the women who are hurting and the way that I'm blessed to be able to empathize and sympathize, I think it's because we come from a place of healing or a healed place, one or the other. And that's why. And I believe now, Russell, realizing all this animosity on Clubhouse, oh my God, they're talking about each other early in the morning. I don't even, it's grown ass adults, you guys, judging other adults. And I know they've got their struggles, and it's ridiculous. And I don't even want to know them because they do that. That's how I feel in my heart, because it's so wrong. Or waving the Christian flag. I'm a Christian, and being the biggest judges in the industry. Oh, Lord Almighty, really, dude? Only God can judge, and that's not till later, right?
Yeah.
So my point is, I just stay away. I just keep negativity. I just get rid of it. Yeah. That's why I end relationships. I've learned to set boundaries. But my other point is, when people start attacking other humans, it's from their pain and their unhealed trauma or resentments that they're still holding on to, that they're projecting onto the wrong people. So we got a mess with our humans right now, guys. We need to lock our arms and help one another and stop the madness. It's crazy.
Well,
because once we heal ourselves and learn how to treat one another, especially personally, and then in our dealerships, that's going to create the ultimate CX experience, because it's going to become who we are, and it's going to naturally translate over to how we treat our customers. And until you do that, you're being hypocritical and fake, and you can't raise a good culture in a sea of broken people, amongst a sea of broken people.
AI is going to fix it all.
This is the best AI podcast I've ever been on.
Don't even get me started. Even the AI, all the phone tracking companies that are being bought up by the telephony companies that are using all this AI analysis, that are either using antiquated training methods that are completely irrelevant today. What knowledge base are they using this AI to tell people this is how you handle a phone call? The people that they recorded, did they handle the calls well? Heck no. So it's gonna be a fun ride. That's why I want to be the human side of AI. I want to be the bridge that helps people onboard to their tools, their AI, and make sure they know how to audit and make it responsible AI.
Well, I think you're doing a lot of that.
Excited about Derek White and what he's doing with Cora. He's going to build a coalition of responsible AI. That's his ultimate goal. And they're going to have global meetings, and they're going to vet. We're going to have to vet one another. We're going to have to band together those of us that have integrity and that are honest, that are truly providing solutions, but legitimate solutions, not just trying to sell them a box product, but provide solutions. That's who we need to support. That's who we need to rally together with. That's where we're going to affect change.
So I have a question. I have a question for you, though.
I'm going about one comment before I forget, because I'm ADHD.
Yeah.
The two big people that have that I've learned the most from are you, Dave Rozek, and you, Wendy. It's taken a lot of the mystery and
That's scary.
But it is. But we have to remind ourselves that there's a human side. But the way you talk about it openly, I understand it. I couldn't even regurgitate it after you finished talking about some of the things that you both of you and Mike Larkin too that talk about. It's like it's beyond me, but it's fascinating. I love it, and I think there's going to be as many good things as many bad things as a result, like anything in life, right?
Well, I have a question though. And I agree with that, Russell. I mean, you got to learn about this stuff, and there's people that are experts, but I have a question. I mean, I see the agentic AI stuff. I see the call center stuff. I see the recording stuff. I see the legacy stuff that's out there. What do you think is going to happen with these companies that are doing like call recording, and these companies that are trying to do outbound, and they're trying to do it the same kind of time frame, and they're trying to transition it? Like, where do you think that's going to come to a head? I mean, do you think those companies are all going to become, there's going to be from a couple hundred to 10? I mean, what do you think?
May I first, David?
Of course.
In my opinion, I think it's what we've been talking about for 2.5 years on the human side of AI.
Yeah.
You need to get your data in order. You need to get your house in order. you can't slap any kind of solution, any kind of tech on a broken culture or broken process or anything else. And it's the same as when we started with CRMs. I remember Autobase in 2007 with my first BDC, and then we switched over to Promax, which was much better. But, you know, we started archaic methods and whatever. We've learned new processes and new tools, but we can't slap like a fresh coat of paint on a car that's ready for the junk heap. We need to take care of our house and our data first. And then we need to understand that if we let it go wild, it will go wild. And they're already talking about how it sucks at math and stuff like that. Tim Hayden will tell you that. So we need to make sure that we're auditing it really, really heavily. And those of us that know, and the AI companies are now starting to do that, where they have a human or a BDC consult or somebody on board that can help with that. But I truly believe it's going to be what David and I have talked about. And I'd love to make that pivot and be like a fractional, I call it CHAO. So now instead of saying Chow, CIAO, I say CHAO, Chow for now, because it's Chief Human AI Officer. But what it is it's bridging the gap between, we've always had gaps, sales to service, BDC to sales, etc. Now it's AI and humans. And we need to make sure that we are onboarding them. We don't have to have the knowledge. We don't know what we don't know yet, but like David could teach me something and I could pay attention and I could learn, and then I could help others as my knowledge grows. Because the thing is we're already trusted advisors in our industries for knowing how to drive traffic, how to do this, how to do that. We simply need to learn the new tool and learn how to manage it. And we need to learn how to manage the new hybrid team of agentic AI, meaning the workflow that we're setting up, and the agents that we're building within the workflow to do all the different things, and the humans. Then we need how to manage that, make sure we have everybody in the right role, make sure that when we are strapping on AI or getting a solution, that it's a solution that we can start with where we are right now. What's your problem right now? Engagement. Like I do evaluations, BDC audits and stuff. 95% of the dealers struggle with engagement. You should still have 80% engagement with your valid leads. They're nowhere near.
So 100%.
AI can help in engagement. It can help with relevance. It can help with answering the questions in the leads and all the rest of that stuff. But we need to start where we are, and we need to crawl and then walk and then trot and then run. And everybody's just dumping it on them. And the other thing is with our vendors, with the larger companies, and some of them are very beloved partners to me, but they're so siloed. They have one team that sells it, one launches it, one is the PM. I mean, I talked to a vendor today, and I love them with all my heart, and I was so upset because they let a certain PM within their company go 6 months without following up with the dealers. And one of my referrals is unhappy and going to cancel. So you have to hold each other accountable. You have to get rid of the silos. You have to make sure that if they're, and David, you know this, and you're going to jump all this and you're going to talk for an hour. There's so much lack of accountability in the vendor space and the dealer space. And we need to get our shit together and start working together if we're going to fix anything.
Well, I have a comment. I have a comment from LinkedIn, and I think it's kind of pertinent. I'm here for the legit AI. And I thought that was hilarious because I'm like, another guy said, the AI revolution is upon us, Scott Campella. And the guy with legit is Phone Bill McLean, who I don't know personally, but interesting. So when you're looking at it, and I agree with you that you have all this siloed stuff going on, but ironically, it's kind of the same silos before AI. So we haven't really moved that needle forward. But the question is, when you talk about data and you talk about legit AI and you talk about solving the problem, I think the bigger question is, which problem are you starting with? And I think when you look at a dealership, there's a lot of problems, but I think the challenge is everyone thinks, oh, this is a silver bullet. We'll just bolt on AI and that's going to fix all these problems. And I go back to a show I did where we had Bill Camastro on, and he said, we plugged in this AI to handle service calls, and then none of the service writers wanted to take any calls. They figured the AI was just going to handle it. And he said they had to rethink that from the ground up because that wasn't the solution. So it was kind of interesting. But David, I know you had some thoughts there, so go ahead.
No, what I was going to say is actually when it comes to data and a lot of stuff, I mean, I follow a lot of stuff Mike does. And I learned from a lot of the different pages and stuff that Russell builds. And you and I have talked at length many nights, and you've educated me on a lot of different things with different vendors, and even as I was, looking for different jobs and employers. But I actually realized that, it's sometimes with data and AI, the problem isn't really the AI. The problem is really us and our culture and the way we really handle things with processes, because I don't think really that there's anything that an AI can do that we can't do. Sure, it can simplify data and it can create things, but it can't draw like me, really. It can't really take a picture like me and edit it the way I do it. It can't really film like me. It can't paint like me. It can't speak like Wendy. It just doesn't know how to do that. It doesn't have the emotion that Rhonda brings to the table in a conversation. It doesn't train like Larry. I mean, the technical things that Michael doesn't understand, a lot of people are never going to get that at the dealership level. But us in this room, we can put together data and understanding and translate it to another person. AI is supposed to create human-to-human connection, but in reality, it's really driving a bunch of walls up because our own laziness is causing us not to think like a human. We're relying on an AI to do something and solve something, and we're relying on it to cut jobs rather than give those superpowers, like Wendy always says. Our humans are our superpowers. We just give them tools to enable them to be that much better and more efficient. The problem is that we still are not training our core and culture and attitudes. We still need to have a service writer that has a smile on his face when he greets somebody in the first 5 seconds they walk in the damn room, and then really is empathetic and explains things to them. We still need to educate the customer what is entailed in changing the brakes. And that's why we need a product like Russell's to create engagement with people online, so that it's easier when we're trying to communicate. I mean, we have these products like Auto iPackage. We have Michael's pages that explain everything in detail to people. But the problem is, are they really reading it? Are our salespeople reading it? Are the customers reading it? Or are we doing that for the purpose of AI eyes right now? And in reality, right now, AI is paying attention to more of everything we do as car dealerships than ever before. Google is trying to step in and enforce our pricing and transparency. The problem is, that's not Google's job. They're not they're not the law. They don't understand our pricing. So for them to say, we're not going to show your cars because our AI said, and our AI is going to police it, there's a lot of problems with AI. And I don't think that AI is really moving the needle like we think it is. We're just moving blame and responsibility around differently. Because I know for a fact, Wendy can train people and they can close people at a much higher percentage and get them in the door than AI ever could. Because you know what? The human that's pulling the strings of that AI is doing a callback at 10 o'clock in the morning when everybody's at work. And then it's calling them again at 8 o'clock at night. And you're not thinking about when is the optimal time to engage and create those conversations, or when is the best time to send a video or to send out a text.
Right.
Wendy has that knowledge set of doing that. And then she knows when a human needs to jump into that call. And AI doesn't know when to do a TO.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. It's not us. And it's not really AI. It's not really agentic. It's just software automation flow. It's just a flow chart.
Understood.
And until it can really think with behavior, and some of them are really evolved. I've done some amazing work with a couple, and they're fantastic. The problem is we're just not ready for it.
100%.
And AI is a good buzzword for a lot of vendors right now. And I think that creating a council that can vet this out is great. The problem that I always fear is the people that are on the council are part of the problem. So,
Yeah.
because the council itself, a lot of them are filled with people that are saying, buy my product because I have an AI. Right? The issue is when I vet out a bunch of them, and I try not to do this with friends, I don't even want to anymore, because so many people have said, hey, come and do my podcast, and hey, we have this great product. Well, when I vetted out their product, I would never recommend them to anybody. So I think this week I've declined, in the past 10 days, I've declined probably 6 podcasts to go on and talk to people about AI stuff. And you know, my biggest reason is, and tell my son and I talked about this, and he said, Dad, why would you keep declining these podcasts to talk to people about AI? And I said, number one, I'm not the expert on AI.
Nobody is.
I just am a talking head. I know a little bit about it.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, I thought you were very passionate about AI. And I said, well, you know, really think about it. I said, I'm passionate because I dislike AI. I said, I know a lot about AI because I hate that. I said, what I like is I like empowering and training people. I said, I like making men and women better.
Yeah.
I said, I like training kids. I like helping.
Yeah.
You know, I said, that's one of those skills that God has said, hey, you can help and motivate people. You know, the thing I'm best at is selling a used car, buying used cars. But because of my detail and always marketing used cars, getting them through the shop, understanding recondition, understanding how to find them, it's all that same principle and process that I apply to training salespeople, working with a culture. And then when I think about culture, AI is my culture in a way, because we have to have kind of a relationship with it. And I'm going to quit talking and land my plane.
Yeah, we're out of time, and we didn't get any words from Abdul from Kabul. So Abdul, maybe you can,
hand raised.
Yeah, Mike.
Real smooth landing, Dave.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
Mike and Abdul, go ahead.
Really quick, and I'll land my plane and let Abdul from Kabul.
Abdul from Kabul, go ahead.
Real quick, we've been working on content velocity. There's a huge problem with content. People don't know what to post. They're just throwing stuff up on the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yep.
So we broke it down to keywords, keyword-based blogs, keyword-based articles, keyword-based videos, all intertwined to gain more visibility, more engagement, more growth. We're not using AI. We're using EI, and we're using CI. What's that? EI is taking your message, taking your company message out to your market in front of your target market. That's EI. That's expert intelligence. That's coming right straight from the company. And when you're telling that story to the masses, when people start going away from Google and doing AI searches, what's going to show up when they're searching for the best at ABC, either product or service? And the CI is content intelligence. You know, if you're not using keywords related to the video that you're doing for an audience that's going to watch that, and we call it the U algorithm. Okay, I can get into that, but that's how we're breaking this down and making the clients that we've got, the light bulb go off and go, yeah, that's where we're going. And we're got a great start. But Abdul, you've been silent. I wanted to hear from you, man.
Yeah, go ahead, Abdul from Kabul.
It's a lot of good stuff. From Russell and Wendy and everybody else, and topic of AI is just I'm learning it too. But thankfully, the gentleman I partnered with is really very engraved into it from beginning with IBM Watson, and then opened up his own company. And then he wanted me to get into the automotive section of it and develop platforms, and that's what we do for used cars, as Gary and Larry and Rhonda knows. And we develop platforms based on what dealership needs are, not what we want to pound on the dealerships, and keeping the staff of the dealership more empowered into doing their jobs better and earning better, and at lesser of a time, So those are the things that I'm learning from Abe, and he's based in Bay Area, and 30-year IT guy and 12 years with IBM Watson. And finally, he went on his own about 3 years ago and will be in about a year ago. So that's what we're doing as far as the AI is concerned, that I'm putting him up there, and he's just telling me what dealers need and each dealer need is different. How to streamline their services, how whether it be BDC, whether it be service, whether it be sales, whether it be selling their used cars, and also in Google tracking and branding. Those are the things that we specialize in. So anytime we could be of help and all of that, please reach out to me, and we'll set up a 30-minute Google Meet and see what the needs of each dealership are, and we'll go from there.
And what about your book? What about your book, Abdul? What about your book, man?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Book is something that we all have a lot of. I got a lot of PTSD from the Russian invasion of '79.
See? Who doesn't have great experiences, right?
Exactly.
There, and it's important.
Yeah.
But I do want to give a testimonial to Abdul and to Abe, his partner. They have some fabulous products. They really do.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we went over.
We went over time. Thanks very much,
Yeah.
everybody. And Russell, I'm looking forward to the book. If you have a preview copy, love to do it.
Thank you all.
If you want
Thank
a crazy car story, check out the Luke Lukenheimer interview. It's on my YouTube channel for Auto Hub Show. It's crazy. But the second interview was even crazier. So watch it. Give me your opinion. I didn't know what to think, to be honest. And that's unusual for me doing interviews. So
Well,
anyway.
By the way, I got a message from Jason Reed a half hour ago that they couldn't hear anything on.
Yeah, that
LinkedIn.
was only for the first minute or so. I solved
Okay,
it.
cool.
Yeah, but thanks for that. Yeah.
Oh, good.
so
I forgot to
everybody
press
heard this whole
record.
thing?
What? I don't
Everybody
know.
heard this whole thing?
Yep. Most of it, 90% is out. It's out.
Yeah,
It's out
see
in the
what
world.
you got me into, Russell.
It's always the replay.
Scared my shit off no.
Well, now there's no replay. I forgot to press the record button.
No, this replay. It's out there. It's out there.
No way.
All right. Have a good night.
I told y'all that they loved you and appreciated you. I just did, okay?
Ciao.
Good night.
Take care, guys. Love yous.
That's
Yeah.
it.